Look, if you're making 150K or more per year, but you still feel like you're spinning your wheels financially, then this video is definitely for you. Because here's the truth. I've seen doctors, engineers, executives, even business owners, people in the top 10% of earners still retire late, stressed, and out of time to enjoy it. And it's not because they aren't smart or disciplined, it's because they're making one or more of these 5 critical investing mistakes. And if you recognize yourself in even one of these, it's costing you years of freedom, and you can fix it starting today. By the end of this video, you'll be able to spot the exact mistakes that are slowing you down on your path to financial independence. Understand the real cost of leaving them unfixed and know the first step to correcting them without overhauling your life or living like a monk. If you're new here, I'm Justin Saffel, an engineer turned investment advisor managing over 11 million in client assets. I help high-earning professionals turn their paychecks into financial independence 10 to 15 years sooner than traditional retirement timelines without extreme frugality. And I've seen behind the curtains of dozens of 6-figure incomes, and I can tell you your income alone doesn't guarantee freedom. It's about what you do with that income. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack here today. All right, let's get into it. Mistake number 1, the high income, low wealth syndrome. Okay, so here's the symptom. You're earning 150K, 200, or maybe even 300K, but your savings rate is single digits and your investments aren't compounding fast enough to buy back your time. And the cause is lifestyle inflation. It's the subtle pressure to upgrade your car, your home, your vacations, just because you can. Society's script says you're successful, so show it. But here's the problem. Every dollar you spend on upgrades now is a dollar that doesn't compound for your future. And over the next 10 to 15 years, that's hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions lost. Here's an example. I had a client making $240,000 a year, driving a $90,000 SUV, living in a $1.2 million home with a $6,000 mortgage, and their net worth was under $200K. But here's how you fix it. You've got to define enough, the lifestyle you can be happy with and sustain forever. Every dollar above that goes into wealth building that buys your time. And what could be more valuable than that? So this one shift alone can double your savings rate and cut years off your work timeline. All right, so let's talk about mistake number 2. This is that someday goal problem. And here's the symptom. Your financial goal is, well, I want to retire comfortably someday. And that sounds fine until you realize that you can't measure someday or comfortable. And so here's the cause. You don't have a concrete target, no fire number, and without it, you won't know when you won, and so you'll just drift. And here's the problem with that. You'll either overshoot, work way longer than you need to, or you won't enjoy your life as much, or you'll undershoot, running out of money too soon. And both will cost you the healthiest years of your life. So here's an example. A high earning couple I worked with once, they thought they needed $5 million to retire. And after running the numbers, we found their actual fire number was closer to $2 million. And they were actually already nearly 60% there. They just didn't know it. And so here's the fix. Take your annual expenses, how much you spend on an annual basis, multiply that by 25, and you'll get a very, what I would consider conservative financial independence, retire early number. And this is your freedom target. And once you know it, you can reverse engineer your savings and investment plan with precision to get you there. All right, mistake number 3, the 10% savings rate myth. The symptoms of this are pretty simple. Basically, you've been told that saving 10% of your income is responsible. And traditional retirement advice has been built around this for decades. But it will get you to retirement maybe when you're 65, 70, or 75 years old. And it's not necessarily for high earners who want freedom decades earlier than traditional retirement timelines. And so the problem is that at 10%, you're looking at a 40 plus year career. And that's if everything goes right, market returns, inflation, no big emergencies. And so saving, for instance, 20K a year at 7% growth for 40 years is roughly $4 million. But if you started at 30 and wanted to retire at 50, you need to be saving a lot more, okay? And so here's the fix. For high earners, the sweet spot is 20 to 40% savings rate. And every percentage point you add now gets you or buys you weeks, months, sometimes even years of your life back. And so if you're realizing you're making one or more of these mistakes, I built a free community just for high earners like you. And inside, you'll get my free Fire Starter course, the Fire Tracker workbook, weekly group implementation meetups, and a 30-minute one-on-one investment strategy session with me where we'll map out your work optional plan. And on top of that, you get a supportive community of like-minded individuals on the same path as you. The link's in the description and the spots for those one-on-one calls, they go really fast, so get yours while they last. Now, let's move on to mistake number 4. And this is a big one. It's the employer dependency trap. And we see this crop up. Basically, your entire investment plan is your 401k. And you've never really thought beyond that. The thing is that you're going to be overly reliant on your employer-sponsored plan at some point. And the problem is, if you lose your job, you lose contribution access, plus you can miss out on tax diversification and flexibility in early retirement if all you focus on is your 401k. And so one client of mine had over $1 million in their 401k, but nothing in standard taxable brokerage accounts. They wanted to retire at 55, but most of their money was locked up until 59 and a half without penalties. And so here's the fix. You need to add IRAs and taxable brokerage accounts and other vehicles. This gives you flexibility and control over your withdrawals and a smoother tax strategy. All right, now let's move on to the final mistake, a big one. Mistake number 5, the shiny object portfolio. Here's the symptoms. You're constantly switching between investments, chasing crypto, hot stocks, the latest ETF trim. And the cause is just this FOMO, or this lack of a defined rule-based strategy. The problem is you're going to rack up trading costs, miss compound opportunities, and underperform the market for the most part. One high earner I met had switched investments 12 to 13 times during this just a 2 or 3 year period, and the returns were less than the S&P 500 index. Here's the thing. All you need to do is create a simple rule-based investment strategy and stick to it. Remember, consistency beats cleverness over time. All right, so here's the reality. High income is a gift, but it's also a trap if you're not intentional. And the difference between retiring at 50 and in great health or working until 67, 70 years old, exhausted, comes down to avoiding these 5 mistakes that I just lined out for you guys. And if you want help creating a clear, personalized plan to get there, join my free FireOS community right now. You'll get the free Fire Starter course, a free 30-minute one-on-one investment strategy session, and we'll run your numbers and map out your exact plan to financial independence. Click the link in the description below, subscribe for more videos like this, and drop a comment down there. Tell me which mistake hit you the hardest today. Remember, every month you delay fixing these mistakes is a month you give away to freedom later. So let's make sure you're not wasting your peak earning years. All right, that's all for now, and I'll see you in the next video.